The Imperial dreadnought Ossiferian split into real space. Above, Earth, like a god punching through silk hand, promptly received a parking violation. The ticket, inexplicably floating outside the command deck viewport, flapped gently in the vacuum of space, glued to a piece of toast. Not a drone, not a missile, just toast. Admiral Gorthax of the 9th Galactic Subjugation Fleet blinked his 10 eyelids in unison. Is this some form of primitive challenge? His second-in-command, strategist Yolmik, leaned forward, sniffed, then recoiled. Sir, it smells of cinnamon. This is deliberate. Gorthax's voice thundered across the bridge. Deploy the translators. I want a full linguistic scan of that bread. Earth, a backwater blue marble, had long been flagged for delayed annexation. Its carbon emissions were visible from Proxima Centauri. Its military reach was limited. Its species bipeds with weak vocal cords and a dangerous obsession with sarcasm. Still, the Empire's annexation bots rated humanity's threat level as cosmic background annoyance. Until today, back in low orbit, the toast fell apart and scattered into the vacuum. On the crust, burned into the bread, were 5 unmistakable words. We saw what you did. Back in the Earth Alliance Response Center, Commander Steve adjusted his novelty sunglasses and leaned back in his duct-tape chair. All right, folks, he said, chewing something definitely not gum. They've brought out the big triangles. They're hexagons, sir, Lieutenant Carla whispered. Triangles of energy, Carla, stay sharp. Steve flicked a switch labeled Please Don't Touch, activating Earth's orbital defense system. A series of rusted satellites whirred to life. One blinked twice, rotated backwards, and fired off an email to its ex-wife. The others followed Sutex instead of lasers. They beamed TikTok videos directly into the Empire's long-range thought receivers. Admiral Gorthax reeled as his neural HUD flooded with footage of someone making a grilled cheese sandwich with a clothes iron. What is this? Human neuropsycho warfare, Admiral, screamed Yolmik. They're embedding recursive media loops. Our minds can't distinguish irony from command structure. Meanwhile, the humans waited. Humanity had learned something long ago. Never shoot first. Always let the enemy believe they've won right up until their fleet smells like regret and poorly aged camo bear. So Earth didn't fire, didn't raise shields, didn't even scramble jets. Instead, Steve leaned over the console, hit the retaliation, petty protocol. And thousands of satellites across the globe redirected their signal bandwidth to a single, targeted task. Buffering the entire Empire's battle AI with endless YouTube ad pro rolls. Your targeting array is now brought to you by Raid, Shadow Legends, said the Empire's tactical display in a calm, sultry voice. Impossible, shrieked Gorthax. I paid for ad-free. On Earth, Steve grinned, a toothpick appearing between his teeth like some divine joke. Let's see how they handle round 2. As Steve reached for the button labeled Dumber but Louder Response, a low tremble ran through the floor. A technician turned. Sir, ... You sure we want to keep poking the space bear? Steve stared at the blinking screen where Empire ships were attempting evasive maneuvers against meme swarms. No, he said, we're not poking the bear. He slammed the button. We're making the bear question its life choices. The Empire, still broadcasting demands for surrender, had no idea what humanity was really planning. But they were about to find out. Because Earth's retaliation wasn't a laser, it was a fanny pack. And it had just been launched at 10,000 kilometers per second directly toward the Ossiferian, filled with glitter. Shame, and a note that simply read, Bet you won't open this. The fanny pack detonated 30 meters from the Ossiferian's command hall, releasing an electromagnetic pulse encoded entirely in outdated Vine references. For 6 agonizing seconds, every screen on the bridge of the Imperial dreadnought looped a 6-second clip of a teenager yelling, "What are Thus?" at Admiral Gorthax's ceremonial combat boots. The boots self-destructed from embarrassment. This is ... psychological warfare of the lowest order. Gorthak snarled, slamming his fist on the console. The console farted audibly. Everyone froze. Did it just, "Yes, sir?" Yolmik replied. "They hacked our sound pack. We've been meme-bombed." Across the fleet, chaos spread like a Wi-Fi outage at a conference for influencers. Imperial ships reported hallucinations, recursive humor infections, and total communication breakdowns as human interference corrupted their language filters. Replacing critical terms like target lock with vibe check? "Admiral," another officer cried. "They've overridden our galactic translator. If we can't issue fire commands without sounding?" Ironic. Gorthax's command chair began slowly spinning. He hadn't told it to do that. "Enough," he roared, his voice shaking the deck. "Deploy the Second Legion, full planetary suppression protocols." Thousands of sleek alien fighters surged from the motherships, in perfect diamond formation, each carrying antimatter warheads and enough energy to sterilize continents. Their target, Earth's surface command hubs. On the Nevada desert floor, Steve flipped up the sun visor on his gas station bought aviators and whistled. They brought their shiny toys. Moments later, a squadron of modified decommissioned pizza delivery drones streaked into the sky. Each one carried a payload of industrial-strength magnetic paint, glitter mines, and a Bluetooth speaker blaring Sandstorm by Darude at maximum volume. Above, alien ships began taking evasive action. Too late. The drones exploded in synchronized glitter storms. The paint spread instantly, coating the Empire's fighters in shimmering, color-shifting goo. "They can't lock targets," Carla shouted. "Their sensor arrays are blinded by reflective glitter." Plus, Steve added, biting into a slice of cold pizza, "they now look like they're on their way to a pride parade in 1998. Alien command channels across the fleet lit up in chaos. "My ship is fabulous, and I don't know why. Everything smells like cinnamon and failure. Why is my thruster playing Baby Shark on loop?" Empire fleet cohesion collapsed within minutes. Units veered off course, collided midair, or simply shut down out of sheer existential confusion. Admiral Gorthax watched, trembling. "We are the dominant power in this quadrant. We have destroyed planets. We have broken civilizations." Yolmik stared at his console in horror. "Sir, they just hacked our fleet status report. It now says skill issue." Meanwhile, Earth's media response team released a viral video montage of the invasion set to Yaktisax. Within an hour, half the galaxy was watching it. Steve leaned back, propped his boots on the command table, and cracked open a can of off-brand energy drink. "They still think we're unarmed." "They're not wrong," Carla said. "We literally glued our last drone together with duct tape and regret." "Exactly," Steve said. "They're playing checkers. We're playing Uno. And we just dropped a +4. Back on the Ossiferian, Gorthax had had enough. "Activate the Clarion Protocol. Prepare the planet cracker," he bellowed. Every Empire ship within Earth's orbit began to vibrate. Warning lights flared, sirens screamed, because deep in Earth's oceans, something ancient had awakened. Something the Empire had missed. Something they were utterly unprepared for. As tectonic plates shifted and seismic signatures exploded off the charts, Yolmik whispered, "Sir?" "They've activated something." "Impossible," Gorthax hissed. There was no indication of such power. And then it rose, a tower of chrome and rage. From the ocean, a massive mechanical figure surged skyward 10 stories tall, covered in license plates and rage, wearing a traffic cone as a crown. It was powered by diesel and vengeance. It's painted on its chest. Florida Man, Prototype 1. Steve, watching from a satellite feed, grinned. Welcome to Phase 2, boys. Florida Man Prototype 1 didn't walk out of the Atlantic. It power surfed on a wave of jet-propelled crocodiles, screaming something unintelligible and extremely patriotic as it launched a shopping cart full of Molotov cocktails into the sky. Every Imperial sensor in orbit short-circuited trying to classify it. Sir Yulmik said slowly, his eyes flickering with unreadable data. We're detecting multiple war crimes and barbecues. At the same time, Admiral Gorthak stood frozen, his mandibles twitching in horror. That thing is not in our database. Sir, Yulmik replied grimly. It's too chaotic, too unpredictable. TOO Floridian. Florida Man screamed up into the heavens like a sweaty chrome banshee. In its right hand, it wielded a double-ended weed-whacker chainsaw. In its left, a flaming stop sign. And mounted to its shoulder, a leaf blower that had been converted into a railgun powered entirely by bad decisions. Alien ships began pulling back instinctively. Several commanders opened emergency wormholes and just left. No orders, no comms, just vibes and fear. Steve watched from orbit, chewing on a Slim Jim. So, that's going better than I expected. Carla gawked at the rising chaos. What is that thing? Originally, Steve said. A failed government project to make an anti-hurricane mech with the aggression levels of a swamp raccoon. We let it sit in a scrapyard for 10 years and fed it monster energy. He pressed a button. Florida Man's eyes lit up red. It roared one word. Y'all. The Empire didn't stand a chance. The mech tore through fighters like papier-mâché in a thunderstorm. It wasn't precise, it wasn't clean, but it was glorious. One Empire destroyer tried to fire back, but Florida Man caught the plasma bolt in its mouth, chewed, and spat it back like a loogie of pure spite, blowing the destroyer into spiraling shame. On the Ossiferian, panic overtook the bridge. We have to fall back, Yulmik shouted. The troops are hallucinating. Someone just submitted a formal request to apologize to Earth. Gorthax's claws clicked wildly. No, we are the Empire. We cannot wait. What is that? The view screen flickered. Another human transmission. Not Steve this time. An older woman in a bathrobe, hair in curlers, sipping coffee on her porch. Y'all need to stop screwing around up there, she said calmly. You're spooking my chickens. Behind her, a chicken exploded. She didn't blink. I swear to sweet baby Elvis, if one more alien crashes into my yard, I'm going to come up there myself and teach y'all what a wooden spoon do. The transmission ended. Silence on the bridge. Then a single voice from the back of the room whispered, Sir, I think we've awakened the elders. In response, Gorkak snarled, Deploy the neural lance. We'll fry their puny brains. All of them already tried, sir. An ensign croaked. But it bounced back, hit our own PS Ops teams. Half of them now believe they're raccoons named Greg. The Admiral turned to the only screen not yet corrupted by glitter or outdated internet memes. Prepare the resonator. Gasps echoed through the bridge. But Sir Yulmik protested. Forbidden technology. Disrupts reality, breaks narrative causality, and do-IT. Down in the core of the Ossiferian, a massive crystalline structure began to hum. The resonator was built to collapse civilizations by weaponizing their own mythology against them. It summoned hallucinations, delusions, even false memories. No race had ever survived exposure. None till now had ever deserved it. The resonator pulsed. Cross Earth, things began to warp. Birds flew backward. Gravity hiccuped. Time itself hiccuped like a drunk kangaroo. Memes came to life. And then, nothing. Silence, everything reset. A quiet dawn broke over the earth. Did it work? Gorthax whispered. But something was wrong. Very wrong. On the main screen, a single figure stood in touch. It was Steve, now standing on top of a skyscraper, Shirt gone. Sunglasses upgraded. A flaming bald eagle perched on his shoulder. "Do you think you can weaponize absurdity against us?" he said softly. Behind him, thousands of humans rose grandmas with rolling pins. Dads with belt holsters. Gamers with ergonomic keyboards glowing red. A chorus of chaos. Unshaven, undercaffeinated, and full of unresolved issues. Steve cracked his knuckles. "We invented narrative collapse, pal. We're built different." He pulled a walkie-talkie from his belt. "Bring it in." Above them, the clouds parted. A space station shaped like a middle finger descended from orbit. On its side, painted in giant Comic Sans letters, USS Consequences. The resonator began to overload. Alarms screamed across the Empire fleet. Yolmik collapsed to his knees. "Sir, ... I think we just made them mad." Gorthax gripped his throne, watching helplessly as the humans launched their final counterstroke. Steve leaned into the camera. "Hope you brought backups, buddy, 'cause what comes next is gonna leave a mark." The screen cut to black. Space cracked like glass as the USS Consequences dropped into low orbit, flipping the bird to physics, logic, and the entire Empire's fleet as it did. From the hull, loudspeakers activated. They didn't broadcast threats. They played "Never Gonna Give You Up" full volume. "Galactic range frequency, loop enabled." "No, ... double quotes." Gorthax breathed, claws trembling. "It's a Arik class vessel." "Confirmed," Yolmik whimpered, shielding his sensory stalks. They single quotes feed ... weaponized irony past critical mass. "Get me anything that still flies." I don't care if it's a janitor's mop with a thruster strapped to it, but it was too late. Humanity's counterstrike had begun, and it was not a battle. It was a humiliation ritual measured in kilotons of spite. Below, Florida Man Prototype 1 leaped from an overpass, using a stolen taco truck as a skateboard to ride a shockwave up into orbit. As it passed the Empire's lead destroyer, it mooned the crew with a hydraulic system built specifically for that function. Direct hit. Morale irrecoverable. Above, the USS Consequences opened its forward bay doors, releasing hundreds of cube-shaped drones, each the size of a microwave and painted neon pink. "What are those?" Gorkax demanded. "Unknown weapon class," screamed the sensors officer. "They're broadcasting some kind of frequency. ... It's. It's ... double quotes. Say it. It's lo-fi beats to obliterate your Empire too." The cubes floated serenely toward the fleet, exuding a calming aura right before emitting EMP bursts synced to the beat. Entire systems shut down rhythmically. 1, 2, 3. Each boom, a new capital ship went dark. On Earth, Steve watched the chaos unfold while sipping out of a mug that read Galaxy's okayest commander. "Status?" he asked. "Alien fleets in full disarray," Carla replied, scrolling through intercepted communications. One ship's crew tried to reprogram their nav AI using Morse code and crying. "Nice." Steve turned to the room. "All right, let's end it. Activate ... The big dumb button." Everyone paused. "I don't mean yes," Steve said, deadly serious. "It's time. Let's play the anthem." Carla gasped. "But that could destroy our own comms." "You haven't tested." "No time." "Cue it up." She nodded, sweating, and hit the switch. A final signal burst from the USS Consequences, a compressed video file. 1 minute looped. Banned in 17 star systems. Lethally cringe. It was a deepfake of Admiral Gorthax in a tutu dancing to Cotton Eye Joe, with #LameLord written in glitter across his thorax. Projected fleet-wide, in every ship, on every screen. Even the Ossiferians' toilets. "Nuhu?" Gorthax shrieked as his entire bridge crew watched him floss dance to banjo music. Yolmik fainted. Half the Empire's command hierarchy quit in shame. Some joined Earth's side out of sheer respect. Others fired on their own ships just to end the transmission. The Ossiferian buckled, engines collapsing under the weight of sheer public embarrassment. Admiral Gorthax, now completely unglued, howled. We'll return if you haven't seen the last of the Empire. Steve tapped the comms one final time. Don't bother. He leaned in close, sunglasses glinting in the reflection of his own victory. Because next time, we won't send Florida Man. He paused. Let it breathe. We'll send his cousin. Transmission ended. The Empire fled. Not in formation. Not in dignity. But screaming, covered in glitter, trailing corrupted memes and existential doubt. Back on Earth, celebrations broke out. Grandma's dual-wielding flip-flops rode mobility scooters through the streets. Dogs wore sunglasses. Entire cities played kazoo versions of victory marches. And in the center of it all, Steve stood on a rooftop. Broadcast cameras focused on him. He removed his sunglasses, put on cooler ones, and said to the entire galaxy, next time you invade Earth, bring snacks. You're going to be here a while. Mic drop. Roll credits.